Friends, I have gone back to something I did when I was in high school that I haven't done in a long time. That's write poetry. And I felt moved upon to write a poem based on James 1, where he says, "Count it all joy." Now, given the work I've done over the years, both in theology and psychology, and a little bit more recently in phenomenology, the structure of human experience, I've integrated all of that into this poem. I'm going to invite you to listen and experience what I'm saying and allow the Lord to use it to touch your heart and give you insight. To count it all joy. To count all as joy when all contradicts. The task seems far too great. The mind strains to reconcile the inner conflict with the outer pressures. Though tasked with the impossible, the issue is not a summons to force oneself to eliminate the negative feelings one is wrestling with. Such wrestlings do not take kindly to conscious manipulation. They must be faced, acknowledged, understood, and experienced. Counting all of it joy is an inward posture. The one who declares the end from the beginning offers assurance by the Spirit's witness that what is not well currently will be well eventually. Such a knowing involves a shift in the way one chooses to be with the afflictive emotions that accompany external adversities. This shift involves a suspension to occur within, a suspension of a subtle sort. A suspension is not an elimination. A suspension is a distancing, an inner creating of space between one's afflictive emotions and one's reactions to them. The afflictive emotions trigger deeper, feeling-toned responses and inner dialogue. It is there in that deeper place, once light is given by the Spirit, that one truly sees and realizes what is transpiring. There in that deeper place, wisdom is given when asked for in simple faith. Given freely, it comes ever so gently and peaceably. It rests easy on the soul. It empowers a higher order of sense-making. It engenders a higher way of meaning-making. It unearths the deeper fears and the veiled accusations that lie behind them. It reveals the more subtle voice of fear. It reveals the specific message of that fear. It gets to the root and uproots it. Then one discerns as well the voice of skepticism regarding God's goodness. That voice, a voice of accusation. That voice, toned with cynicism. That voice, laced with judgment. That voice, the culprit that hides, the thief of joy, the stealer of rest, the murderer of hope, the dark voice of the forces of chaos and disorder. That voice, now exposed. That voice, now disempowered by the light. The soul becomes disentangled from that voice. Disentangled from that voice that diminishes. Disentangled from that voice that devalues. Disentangled from that voice that dehumanizes. Disentangled from that voice that denies all that is good, that denies all that is just, that denies all that is beautiful, that denies all that is true, that denies all that is lovely, that denies all that is God. That voice, now exposed, is defeated in one's own heart. That voice, now exposed, is disempowered of its ability to quench the fires of divine love. That voice, now exposed, is revealed as having only the power one gives it when one agrees with it. That voice, now silenced. In the silence, the greater silence thunders. Count it all joy. The heart hears the sound of that thunderous voice of sheer, pure silence. Count it all joy. Faith comes when that voice is heard. Hope comes when that voice is heard. Joy comes when that voice is heard. Then, after a while, comes the perfecting and completing of the soul, lacking nothing. Blessings.